Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start the Community Preservation Committee meeting, public hearing to review applications. Today is January 9th. It is 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being recorded. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting, notify the chair at the beginning of the meeting. None, will move to a roll call vote. Dot's online, so we'll have to go around and just announce yourself. Brian Payne, I'm the chair here.
Jean Landis Nolan with the Affordable Housing Trust.
Right.
Do you remember this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking you're here for Nate.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Suzanne Haggerty.
Sheila Vaughn, I'm Affordable Housing Trust member.
Alexander Graham, Planning Board.
Kyle Pike, Finance Committee.
Linda Regasta, Historical Commission.
Dot,
Conservation Commission.
thank you. Those who don't know, Nathan has unfortunately had to resign from the committee. He's no longer a resident in Kingston, so.
Moved to Australia.
All right, so we will move forward with the review of the project applications, and we are going to start with affordable housing. The floor is yours.
All right, we had submitted an application for whatever money is in the housing bucket. It usually runs between $40,000 and $50,000. This is a traditional yearly request. We are in the process of building up our funds. We have a little bit, thanks to the current treasurer and the past treasurer, our money that we've accumulated has been invested wisely, and we've gotten pretty good interest on that. We'll be over 900,000, but as you know, in today's housing market, that would have very little effect on the number of housing units that could be built. We are currently in executive session meetings with Habitat as well as with the town, the selectmen and the conservation committee on two separate promising housing opportunities. So I think it's essential for us to continue to build up the money that we have available, so that if either or both of these opportunities come to fruition, it would be a significant impact on the number of affordable housing units in the community. As you know, the water moratorium has really impacted private developers coming forward, so that option has pretty much been off the table for some time and will for another year or so.
Current reserves for affordable housing is 40,181. Any questions from the committee?
The current balance of the trust, 900K.
It's a little over 900, probably under that, but the additional amount is the interest we've earned
Right.
on getting it invested, at the rate we can with that money.
Any other questions from the committee? Not voting tonight, just opportunity to ask the applicants questions.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any problems with the application.
Okay. I told Trish I wasn't sure. Some of the code and I sent that to you.
No, it's very well done. I did not see any errors. Anyone have any other questions concerning the applicant?
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
We will now move on to Jones River Historical Society.
Don't need me to stay there.
Hi, my name is Carol Anderson. I'm the president of the Jones River Village Historical Society. We're looking for funds to replace the roof on the boathouse that houses the catboat, the Barker's U. When the boathouse was built in like 2015-16, a temporary roof was put on, and right now the current roof does not meet, how do I explain it? The side. So there's a space where birds get in, and that's not a good thing. We've already had CPC funding help us replace the sail. And, we're just looking to replace with a real roof on it. My husband, is also head of maintenance and also a licensed builder, and he would be doing the work.
A nice discount.
Huh?
A nice discount.
I think I have to ask the question, is there any conflict of interest there, or certainly a perceived conflict of interest, in my opinion?
No, he's always done the work for the Jones River. There's never been a conflict at all. He does it as Ray Anderson Construction.
Do you receive multiple bids?
No,
It was $6,000.
yeah,
You don't need multiple bids. Have we provided CPC funding for the upkeep of the house itself in the past?
oh, yeah. Yeah,
So this would count as restoration of a past funded CPC project.
no, not the boathouse,
That's what yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
know the
sorry.
boat itself, but not. have
not
we-
the boathouse. No, that was all funded by members.
Is the boathouse a historical structure?
No, that was built in, like I said, 2015, 2016.
But it's
Not
housing, it's
sure it
housing the boat
qualifies.
itself.
What's that?
It's housing the boat.
Yes, I
itself,
understand
Yeah.
that.
the Structure.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking more about this.
Can I ask, where is it located?
At the Bradford House.
At the Bradford House?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bradford House is historical.
Yes,
Is the whole property considered historical?
we're on the Massachusetts Historical Register,
Okay,
National, yeah.
maybe that's why, because the whole
Mhm.
property itself, it's not just the house, but the property. So when you did the boathouse, did you have to get special permitting for it because it was a historical landmark? Probably did.
It was done by Jeff. Burry.
That was done by Jack Barty,
Okay.
who's
The building
deceased.
department.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. You probably did.
you'd have to
because
check with
I
the
would
building
think, yeah.
department, yeah.
I think it would qualify as a preservation topic rather than a restoration, because the roof is contributing to the preservation of the historical artifact, which is the boat. So
Yes,
we could use CPC funds, for example, to upkeep storage facilities or something like that, that would count towards preservation
okay,
rather than a restoration of the historic site.
okay. Yeah, that's the only thing that's kept in there. It's not used as a storage facility of anything, just the boat.
Does the boathouse itself have any other features to it that would lend it to being a preservation property, like climate control? Anything like that for the preservation of historic materials, their house within?
Has an alarm system.
Other questions?
You could argue that the sole purpose of the boathouse is for preservation of the artifact kept inside and keeping it away from the elements.
Yes,
It's the way that I could look at it. How much is the application asking for?
6,000.
6,000. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it from that lens, I feel like, because I think we did talk about this before, it fits the criteria of preservation, but definitely not restoration.
Yeah, I was thinking the boathouse itself was a historic structure, so I think we could pull it from undesignated funds rather than historic preservation funds. But I'll do a little bit more digging just to make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's and everything, but I hope that's not an issue. I don't think it's a big issue.
yeah, that's the only place we have to put it.
Yeah, and it was built specifically
Yes,
for
it was.
preservation.
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
So right now it has just a plastic panel roof that you use for light coming through,
Yeah,
but it's been wired so you can have light in there and it is alarmed. And right now, when it was just built temporarily so that it has to breathe a little, but you have to have a fascia and a soffit, like a gutter line
Mhm.
and rake boards. Right now, it's all open.
Mhm.
And you gotta keep the varmints out of there. because we're already ruined the sail. And if the varmints get into the boat,
Yeah,
they
There's
naturally
no
do
doubt
everything,
that it
squirrels,
needs to
everything.
be done.
Yeah.
This is a question of how do we fund it?
Have you requested funding from the Sampson Fund too?
no, we have not.
Further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, did I say that the roof would be metal
Right.
instead of a,
Instead of plastic.
Yeah,
right?
All right, let's see, our next application is Kingston Evergreen Cemetery Association.
So we're seeking money to do some select pruning and cutting of diseased and decaying trees that are largely overgrown, susceptible to storm damage from wind, rain, snow, ice buildup. We've had trees that came down previously. We secured CPC funds to repair stones with damaged trunk trees, that just large overgrowth trees, that uprooted, damaged significant stones. Like I said, we got a substantial amount of money to repair stones with damage from tree damage. So we're looking to be kind of proactive to eliminate trees that are diseased, decaying, or just overgrowth. It's going to cause uprooting with broken limbs or a complete fall. Damage that irreplaceable stones, milestones.
I saw no concerns with the applications for open for anybody.
We spend money in one place to take trees down, and we beat people up in other places for trying to take trees down. But I see no problem with this one. Very good.
It's really the graves. It's affecting the graves.
Yeah. Yes, the roots are impinging on the old tombs underground, and then we uproot. Because significant damage to the tombs underground, but also to the headstones as they get toppled over.
Especially those family in those areas, yeah. It's definitely well worth it.
Any other questions or concerns? Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you for your time.
Yep, our next one is the old burying ground, another tree removal project.
Yes, another tree removal project. Similar to Evergreen Cemetery, there are many old trees that are decayed and falling down. Limbs have come down in storms, and it's been lucky so far in terms of very limited damage to the old gravestones. However, they really need, the goal is to restore the old burial ground to its original design, which was really open with the graves fully visible. And taking the trees down, it's approximately, I don't remember the number of trees, but it's over, I think it was around 80 or so.
Yeah, it was quite a bit.
Yeah, it was quite a bit, and the amount requested is 65. But the goal is to get them taken down to save any possible future damage and continue to preserve the gravestones that are there and restore them in time for the 300th anniversary, but also just in general. There are other goals that would follow to make more information available on the internet and through sites like Find a Grave, because the graves that are in there, many date back to the Revolutionary War, and it's a really nice historic part of Kingston that should get more visibility. So hopefully this will help.
I think the last meeting we said we were gonna ask for quotes, so did we get any quotes yet from that?
I think they did
They
have
did.
quotes prior to that.
It was like about 65,000.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. 60 to 80 trees, okay, got it. Thank you.
So 60 is the minimum. They can't, there isn't a way they can further reduce that number.
Of trees.
Yeah, the number of trees that they cut down.
Oh, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know that that would reduce, I think it's more than,
Yeah, because if it's like a min-max thing, like it has to be
Yeah.
at least 60, then it's obviously probably quite a big problem.
Yeah, if
if
you,
there's 60 trees impeding on the land there.
yeah, and there are a lot of limbs and things already down in there, and there's continuous cleanup going on, but it's a continuous problem.
Who's in charge of cleaning it?
I think the town facilities people, but I'm not absolutely certain, but yes, because it is town owned.
Yeah.
Do you think he signed off on the
Yes, it did,
application?
yeah.
Yeah, so.
So it's gonna be, continuous foreseeable maintenance
Yeah,
with everything,
Yeah.
and probably be a lot more labor, focus on that general area,
yeah.
which
It's much-
possibly spending money now and eliminating the trees may prevent that in the long run and have a lot more benefit than anything negative.
That would be the goal. It's a much smaller area than like all of Evergreen, but
Mhm.
it is, yeah, town owned property right now.
I personally have no problem with the concept of taking down some of these trees, cleaning the place up a bit. I don't like the idea of authorizing a full $65,000. I think that's kind of high for that type of project and that relatively small piece of land. It's one person's opinion.
I think they can,
I would say that that's probably realistic considering the size of some of those trees and the carefulness that's going to be involved in getting them down without damaging more stones, etc. It's not an ordinary situation.
$1,000 a tree.
yeah,
Can go for nowadays, so
Yeah.
65 trees, 65,000, they gotta do more than that.
right.
You're right.
If it's 80 trees or
It is
70
expensive,
trees,
though.
It is very expensive.
So it's a large, that's why I'm wondering, like, what would the schedule look like? Like, is it gonna be like, you head out there and then, one straight shot, 65 trees are removed? Is it gonna come in phases, anything like that?
That I am not positive of, being new on the committee, but,
I think it.
I was under the impression that
There's
Well,
there's
we
no
really don't
quote.
want to, Yeah.
There's no quote in the application.
in the
Okay.
application, right?
Yeah, 65,000. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but $1,000 a tree,
For 80
it
trees,
seems about
or
right.
70 trees even.
But with that kind of money of taxpayer dollars,
It would have to go out to bid anyway.
I would want, it would have to go out to bid.
Yeah.
So all that will be taken care of when it goes through the process.
Okay.
We'll have multiple bids come in before we issue any actual checks.
Okay,
Mr. Payne, you did say that in our, I don't know, it did say that we would look, we would want things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do we want them at this stage?
I mean, I think it's hard to do it at the stage because we don't know when it
that's
would
too
be.
early.
Right.
It's too early. And the spruce beetles also have the issue too, that we said that the spruce beetle both places.
When recreation does it, it's after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've done that before with recreation and several meetings ago, we voted to authorize me to sign off on basically administering the money once the committee votes on it. So just gives me the material. There'll be multiple bids will come in. The town will require that anyways.
Okay.
So we'll just make sure that they get the appropriate bid.
I don't know.
I'll just sign that, yeah.
No, you sign the bid. You
Right.
don't sign that.
Right.
So the bids would be like through. the town.
I have one more comment. Thinking of those trees, how old and historic they are, has anybody looked into the possibility of saving some of the wood to give away, sell, whatever? Making bowls or ships or planks
So-
out of them?
I don't think any of those trees would come anywhere close to being considered historic. They're all, I'm pretty sure, with like longleaf pines, and they're all fairly young. And I think the cemetery, it was at one point open,
Was open.
so
That-
all these
that's
trees
the
have
reason.
grown up since then. And I recall from last time they said that they were diseased, or was that
Yes,
the other
they
one?
have them on
the
the
spruce beetle.
Yeah, so I don't think the wood would be of any
Yeah.
service other than chips.
Okay.
Or rotted, so that even.
Yeah.
Would be interesting to see what resources could be, kept though, with that much
Mhm.
coming down. See if it can be repurposed in one way or another. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you never know, take a couple down. though.
Playgrounds, big wood chips.
Yeah, playground someplace. Any other questions? Dot, you good?
Yeah,
All right, thank you. Is that all of them?
The pond trees.
Oh, yeah, sorry. New evergreen. It's not mine.
I thought Matt Panoa Conservation was doing it, I thought.
He's,
He is,
he's
he's
up
not
there,
here today.
right?
Yeah. And he was doing grants for that as well, right?
Yes.
I'm reading the notes from your wonderful notes.
I'm looking for it in here. I don't see it. No, I'm definitely not sure.
I haven't heard from.
Affordable housing, recreational trust. I know I read it earlier, so it's in here.
Oh, yeah, because
Is there someone from?
there's no funding for Sampson Fund of 14,000.
This was the Bates Pond Accessibility Trail Project for the accessibility for right behind the senior center.
Mhm.
So it would be the only long distance ADA compatible, compliable trail. And this was for phase one, which included permitting and planning. And in the application, there was a lot of language about alternative sources of funding for the actual development of the project later on. I believe in the initial presentation, there was some comment about the price tag, $68,000 for planning stage. That also includes a lot of permitting.
And now is it even more, I believe?
$68,222.80.
Except for like engineers and assessments,
Yeah.
and this is just it's not even the actual work.
They're
So
not
it's
actually doing the
seeing
work.
if they can be done, right?
Yeah.
There's a chance that they might come back and assess that they can't do.
Right. I mean, this is for, yeah, it's for the planning stage. Planning and permitting, I believe, was the specific words used in the application when I first read it.
Yeah, it's to get to the point where you can go out to bid, basically, for
Yeah.
somebody to build it.
It's a pretty complicated project.
I just pulled it up. It is on in the website there. It's the one that's
Cool.
not identified. It doesn't say
sorry.
Bates Pond or anything. It's towards the bottom, maybe.
You know, that page all the way down. The last one I have is Old Burying Ground. I know I've read it, so.
You got it.
We have a lot of funding coming in. The Sampson Fund was going to be helping. We were also talking about the Mass Trails grant to after the fact. I think it's all this permitting and everything
Yeah.
that we have.
One thing I would really want to point out is I was on the open space committee when we did our plan, our 10-year plan, and ADA accessible projects were pretty high on the list of things that need to be done. Location of this particular project is ideal because it's near the senior center. The application also included a lot of supporting letters too.
Yeah, here's where I got my idea that it is more than the 68,000. In the budget, the CPC funding requested 68,222.80,
Mhm.
combined with the additional funding of 14,806 from the Sampson Fund, will fully cover the design and then permitting phase of the project, totaling $83,029. Again,
I see that, yeah.
I'm certainly not enthusiastic about spending $83,000 just to get started on the project. I think there are better uses of the funds in town than continuing to spend 90% of CPC funds or 90% of Sampson funds on what I call conservation, open space type of projects. But again, that's just my opinion.
if I could speak for the project, I'm a senior. I spend a lot of time at the senior center, and when I first went over there, people knew that I used to lead walks at the nature center in Norwell, and they asked me, is it possible to lead walks around the senior center? So I walked around looking, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but it's absolutely impossible for a senior to walk anywhere around the grounds. it's just the little woods is full of stumps and broken stuff and junk and very bad stepping. And then just closer to the building, there's detention ponds, et cetera, and the bit of lawn there is just drops right down into the wetland. So there is an interest, but you can't do it there. Not even for 6 feet. So the need is there, and the woods is right there next door. It would be wonderful, not only for seniors, but for anybody who's out for a little walk instead of a bigger walk. So I can't say about the cost of what is in the form, but I think it's worth it.
I would expect that if it's gonna cost $83,000 to design and engineer and investigate, et cetera, you can probably multiply that times 4 or 5 times for the actual construction cost. So you're probably talking a $500,000 project, 14,000 plus people in Kingston. And I dare say I'd be surprised if 400 of those 14,000 would benefit from this type of expenditure.
Well, if this.
Well, at the open space forums, there was a good deal of public support for ADA compliable trails. That line came in from the public forum discussion. I only know that because I was on the open space committee at the time, so I'm not sure what information, but it's public. It's in the plan. A lot of money. It would have been nice to have multiple quotes, but they have the one quote from Strong Tree Engineering. Other thing you might want to point out is that there are no other open space applications this year. They have $39,236 in the open space bucket. So you're looking at pulling about 23,000 or so out of undesignated funds, of which we have 347,000. So, a few things to consider before we vote for the next meeting. Thank you. All right, let's look at our agenda, huh? Review of availability of CPC funds. That's what we gave you here.
Yeah.
We have copies for everybody? Or is that just,
Minutes, which were late, and then this was given out last time too.
Okay. You guys want to take a look at this?
Thank you. Yeah, okay. I love the future. I feel good about everyone stuff like that.
I couldn't look at that thing anymore after today. A lot of big administrative day for me and my job.
Right?
So we have $39,236 set in the open space, $39,236 in historic, $40,181 in affordable housing, and $347,914.72 in undesignated fund balance. All the projects don't come really anywhere close to maxing out those funds. 120, 60, about $200,000 total or so projects. Any questions?
I do, so the balance is what is paid to date, or is the
That
balance?
is on current projects that still have money left.
That still have money left,
We're
okay,
only looking at
Alright.
the top part.
all right, thank you, sorry.
No,
It's the balance for outstanding articles.
so that, the total is everything,
Okay,
then these are what people are still paying on.
right.
So this minus all this,
I thought, like, the GOG
Gotcha.
update, we got money back from that was done.
Gotta go with something else.
Oh, or something else?
No. we do.
Oh, no, that's right.
Scarf is pretty
Can I
old.
put it
That's
back?
been
Yeah,
around
it
for
is.
a
We
while.
can, I can put it on the next one to review.
Yeah,
I have to go back to it.
The same thing with like.
it's done. I mean, that might.
It is done.
Yeah,
I'll make a list.
We asked them to put a sign up.
maybe that's what's left, is we have to
Maybe
put the
it's
sign. Is $1,000, is the sign $1,000?
No, I think it's just over budgeted project.
can
so-
Okay, yeah, okay.
Something we'll have to do the next meeting.
I
Go through
remember
some
it
of
was
the-
under budget, I should.
Yeah, it was under budget. Same thing with the playground came in like with money left over, I thought.
I can address, I'll put that on the agenda.
Okay.
the Callista Farm project. Oh, no, that's still.
Powder house restoration, is that still going on? Okay.
Pochinki still going on? Just I can't get them on.
You know what, I can't answer any of Brian's.
Sorry, that's okay. No, we're not expecting you. I'm sorry, Tricia.
No,
We're not
it's fine.
expecting you to do that. Was the one you had a question about?
Opportunity.
I believe it's
They were like desperate. They needed the money like that day.
Oh, yeah, no,
Everything was-
I
the
think
sky
that it
was
might
falling.
be done. I think that's, I don't know,
remember
but
that
I
one.
think that might be
That was the big
close
one.
to done.
Okay.
And
So we
sometimes there can be a delay when a
Yeah.
project is 95% done
Mhm.
and.
Weather or
the-
whatever,
And the,
yeah.
and the payments can lag up to 90 days afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? The next meeting we'll review some of the other. Meeting minutes.
Feel like,
You guys want to take a minute to read these?
June and November.
Excellent.
Take one and pass it.
Take one. Pass.
I read one. Yeah, I read this whole thing. I have my. Good job. I didn't see it. I just said, do the minutes, the actual session, I forgot how to do it when I don't want to die.
Any concerns?
Looks reasonable to me.
The motion to accept the minutes.
I move that the CPC committee accept the meeting minutes for November 14th, 2024 as submitted.
June 7th,
June 7th, too. I think I didn't get that.
June 6th.
so.
Sorry, I didn't pass them around.
All right, let's just, why don't we just
Okay,
Yeah,
do this
November.
one?
Okay, we have a motion to a second.
second,
Brian Payne, aye.
Suzanne Hegarty, aye.
Jill Von, I.
Alexander Graham, I.
Kyle Pike, aye.
Linda Augusta, I.
Dot?
Is that the one I missed?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't believe I can vote on it.
To abstain then.
Mhm.
I'll abstain.
Motion passes. So now we'll look at June 6th. Any discussion?
I'll move that the CPC approve the meeting minutes for June 6, 2024 as presented.
Second,
Brian Payne, aye.
Suzanne Hegarty, aye.
Jill Von, I.
Alexander Graham, I.
Kyle Pike, aye.
Not I.
I abstained because I wasn't on the committee yet.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, moving forward to new business. Make a motion that we cancel the February 6th meeting because we've already considered all the applications. We normally reserve 2 meetings to do this in case we have a lot. I would like to make a motion.
I'll second it.
Oh, fair enough.
Never mind. I thought I saw it on the website.
It is, but you don't need, I don't believe you have.
Okay. All right. We just
As
cancel
long
it
as the
then.
committee doesn't want to do it, we can just cancel it. then. That's
All
great,
right.
because I have another meeting at it too, so. it's always good.
Actually, hold on one second, everybody.
I think I have 3 meetings,
We might have a
that's
problem
it.
actually.
March 6th.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here March 6th. Wait. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here March 6th. Can we move the vote up to February 6th? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
your decision.
Can everybody check their calendars for February 6th?
Let Jerry do
Do we have to,
Get out of it.
Probably should be.
oh, no, because you only need 5 days to list the, or a week to.
Oh, I
list
can
the
do that
public.
tomorrow.
Okay, okay. I'm fine with that. I'm
Is
fine
everybody
with
good with that?
I assume it's a Thursday night, so.
Thursday,
I have,
yeah.
I have my PAC meeting, but I can be here, yeah. At the 6th, so I'll
It's
be
a
here.
voting meeting, so it's kind of important that
No, no, I'll be here.
we're here. So
Yeah.
we gotta find a different date.
No, I can be here.
I'll double check.
6:30 is a great time.
It's available, so
That's
they're
not
not
bad.
switched.
Scott, is that good for you if we meet on February 6th?
Absolutely.
All right. I don't think we can vote on that, right?
No, I will update the website tomorrow. And
Great.
and put it in paper.
Okay.
6:30 on February 6th. Right.
Sounds good.
All right. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to bring forward to the committee? I have one item. About a year or so ago, we talked about the necessity to raise the profile of the committee by ensuring all projects had signage. And at one point, I believe Nathan had volunteered to sort of drive around town to check to see if the projects have been so marked. But I don't think we ever really heard anything about that.
What type of signage?
That was gonna be the next step.
Oh, okay, so
I know I
he's-
sort of noticed this when I was sort of walking through Plymouth, that they have really pronounced signs that this was a CPC funded project.
It's part of the application.
Yeah.
To do the
Post a sign that
sign.
says.
But I'm not sure if that's actually
You're right.
being done.
Yeah.
And at that point, they've already got their money,
Yeah.
the project is gone. And I'm mainly concerned about those people who sort of regularly come. Historical Society, the Recreation, Conservation, Open Space, whether or not they're so designating our projects. And it could be something we would want to bring up, you know, say, hey, we've been giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
And now you're coming back for more, but we don't see any signage.
Yeah.
I
Um,
do know Sewer Work for Recreation does it.
Yeah,
I do know Conservation does it.
yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Like, when the old facilities director was here, Brad, and he would do things at the powerhouse and whatnot, he would do it, so I think the only ones I know of are town.
Yeah. So that was my first sort of step of this. I was gonna ask those who are members of the community representing those agencies, if you could go back and talk to your committee, whether it's conservation, historic, open space, or whatever it might be. I think open space is vacant right now, but the conservation people should be able to handle that one too. And just do a quick survey and get a confirmation that the projects have been funded. And then I can sort of go back in the last couple of years worth of funding and look at the ones that we funded outside of those town agencies
Mhm.
and just sort of go check them out.
Quick question, do we want to consider like a standard
Yes.
signage too? Like, and we approved that, what that would look like, right?
We never really got that far,
Yeah,
from what
okay.
I can recall, because the first step was to see what, I think Nathan was going around to take pictures of all of them.
Yeah,
And then we could try to come up with a standard logo, like we talked about whether a town seal should be
Yeah.
on it, things like that. And if it was gonna be standardized, it was something that we would probably purchase as a committee
Right,
and then have them to hand out. They might want to include it into the budget. They would buy one from us. Like I know
Right.
conservation, they have like for like $1, you buy one of those green wetland protections and you have to put it on your property after it's been approved. So we could like order a bunch of them, have them, and then they would, every application would have to work $20 into their program. So they would put on the same sign, would be consistent.
Mhm.
I'm just a little concerned that we're not getting a lot of applications. My first year here was controversial. It was like, we had a
yeah,
lot, but my understanding is that was a first and it hasn't been that way really ever since.
yeah.
And I'm also concerned that no one really came to the public forums that we had, like 0 participants other than the ones who knew that they
Unless
were
it was
gonna
like a
apply.
big brouhaha, right? Like thinking,
The Veterans Memorial
Yeah.
one was a big one, the Opus
Black
IP field,
water.
that was before me.
The playground was a huge thing.
The playground,
Okay.
so I just wonder if like,
It's
I
interesting.
would imagine most town residents don't even know this exists.
We did talk about this when we both first started,
Yeah,
because I think Joanne was like, should we, advertise this someplace? People don't know about it.
Hmm.
I don't know if that is something that we should do, but,
I don't know.
I mean, at this point in time, because I can tell you, our budget is, as that school town, the school budget, the Kingston's budget. And I can tell you that, like, if we could have, I know more about it because I'm part of the town, like, people, but it is, I think it's nice to be able to have a little bit, even like a flyer or something, like, or even being more prominent on the website or something like that. I think, because people are always looking for funds, right? We talk about the grants and everything like that, but, and I think there are sections of the website that you can see about the funding or additional funding, but it is interesting because I heard about CPC, but you always think of it as like, okay, you're saving the wetlands and you're saving, like, it's really for specific things and, but there's a very broad aspect of what that could be too, so it is kind of nice to be able to maybe tell people what has been done in the past and what you can use it for, so we can think outside the box of what we can do.
I know about a little over a year ago, there was some media coverage of CBCs in Massachusetts because there was a report filed statewide saying that the CPCs weren't doing enough for affordable housing. Basically, all the money was going into recreation and open space. Guilty for Kingston too. When you think about how we've spent the undesignated funds, it's affordable housing should be one of the main priorities.
But I think of Silver Lake too, though. It's like, because it's regional and it's Halifax and Plimpton, I've always said, like, could we pop into, like, we are lucky to have our CPC funds, but Halifax and Plimpton don't, and that's a regionalization, but it's housed in Kingston, so it's always one of those interesting dynamics of like what we can use, because we're the only real town around, I think, that has a CPC. Like, because Halifax and Plimpton don't have one, I don't believe, so.
Plymouth has a big one.
Plymouth has a huge
Plymouth
one.
is huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Plymouth
I
is
mean,
huge.
the one of our towns around us that we,
Well, the Plymouth CPC also puts out an annual report, which we do too, but
Yeah.
theirs is like very glossy. I mean, they spend 10 times what we spend.
A little advertisement might help.
Some of the other CPC that I've heard from were also concerned that if you advertise too much, people start like,
start using it for things that they're not supposed to be using.
but even like go after it.
Yeah.
They'll
yeah,
want to end it.
Yeah.
They don't want to,
I think that has been, I've heard that floated a few times in this town, so, yeah. So we don't want that either, because these funds are really important.
But if that's coming, if that's an inevitable conversation, we'll have to have somebody. We'd like to have it well marked around town. Say this is what this did. Just drive around town and see CPC everywhere. Then it'll be a little bit easier to defend. So you could go back to whatever committees you represent and just get a real clear sense. Even take photographs so we can see how they're being projected. If conservation is putting signs up, but then a tree grows up in front of it, it's good to us, right? So we're gonna start thinking about how the CPC is being presented to the town. That's the only item I have.
I like that too. It's good.
Any other business people would like to bring before the committee?
I'm good.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Brian Payne, aye.
Suzanne Liberty, aye.
Joe Von, aye.
Alexander Graham,
Al Pike, aye.
Wonder what else.
Dot I.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
I'll see you in February.